Slight technical difficulties, bear with us.
Welcome to NinCast Episode 4, brought to you by Ninpocho Chronicles and Shinobi viewers everywhere. Ninpocho Chronicles is a role-playing forum site based on the Naruto universe. Come and create your own story at www.ninpocho.com. My name is Nana, who plays Hayata Shin, the current 8th Hokage of Kamakura, and a member of Cloud Council. With me this week is Jake, who plays Hoshikata, who's also a member of Admin,
Sup?
and CJ, who plays Yuri, Sand Council, from Sand Shooting.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, today, we're kind of going to do things a little bit differently again. We're going to start off with current events and general announcements, and then after that we do a special topic. Special topic will be a toss-up. Basically, we have a bunch of topics to talk about, and we'll be discussing each one. You can feel free to interject and ask questions in the chat, and we can answer them as best as we can. So, starting off with the current events, let's see. For Cloud, we have some interesting things going on. We have 2 events going on. Main branch of Medical. Medical is being run by Keiji, and Main is run by Hikari. So if you guys are any of those branches in Cloud, please join them. Also, Cloud, or me in particular, me and Keiji were trying to develop an art, the Old Gods art. I remember that was mentioned, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And what I was trying to do is, basically, it's kind of similar to the old demon art that we used to have back in the day. So basically, we're going to use like some type of old god to revive, and basically he's going to be used to destroy the village, and the people who are responsible for reviving him are basically going to be Titan and IBT and any organization that don't really like Shinobi. So basically they're going to use ninjas to help revive this old god. And I was trying to discuss this with some of the players, especially like Mana, Hoshi, and Zenchi, because since they're very not hostile, I guess, but they're very independent characters, and I think they'll be very interested in being able to like have a great impact in the village because they're there. So, and I also feel like to make the students more interested in the village, to use them as well. So, I was thinking about an idea whereby they will be given items by nefarious companies like IBT or Titan, but they don't know that. But it gives them maybe a stat boost or something like that, but also alters their personality a little bit, because basically what they're doing is reconstituting like old dark spirits from like a different realm. So it's kind of like Lord of the Rings a little bit, where if you use the ring, it slowly corrupts you and things like that. So I don't know if you guys are interested in the idea. Just ask me on PM, things like that, and see, maybe we might try it again. So, besides that, there's nothing much going on in Cloud right now. Just missing in stuff and things like that. So I'll leave it to Hoshi to discuss things on missing in or sand, things like that.
Not much going with missing men either at the moment. We are about to begin the contract mods. There's been a lot of weird planning that we've had to do. We've actually had to reshuffle them a couple times from people rebirthing into villages and just leaving the missing faction. But those should begin this week for the ones that it hasn't already begun for. Really, that's about it as far as I can think of there, except for the obvious, just different missing doing things for the villages, but those would be more in the villages than a missing thing, so.
I have a question though. Are you guys still doing the old guild system? I know that we asked that question before.
We are working on that right now. Actually, it's we were waiting on Moon to come out. Now we're just finalizing a couple ideas for it, and then it's going to actually release to the forum. For those who don't know, the Mercenary Guild is pretty much going to be like an IC faction for missing, where if you want a job done, you can post it up there, or if you're a missing who doesn't want to actually make your own mission, you can go there and we'll make one up for you and mod it and everything.
Okay. It's interesting. I don't know, like the current system right now, missing in the basically will ask a question, or make a request to a village, and then they respond with saying it's yes or no. But
pretty much. That's why we're making this, is so they can have missions outside of the missing area that do not completely rely on the villages being like, okay, we're going to let you do that, but only if you do it this way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it gives us opportunity to create interesting plot devices to work with. As you know, as a village council member, I'm looking forward to it because it gives us something that we can work with. So this missing ninja did this, so it's going to destabilize this. So we should probably send our ninja out to go do something about it, kind of thing, which I think is interesting.
And this missing guild thing is in-character thing. It's not just an out-of-character aspect of it.
Right, it's an in-character thing. It's actually going to have an entire administration to it based out of Moon.
Okay.
How is Moon doing, by the way, Jake? I know it was talked about for a bit. Is it actually up on the forums yet?
It's released. We're just waiting on people to go there and roleplay.
Really?
It's kind of hard to roleplay a village that we don't exist yet. I mean, we couldn't technically exist in NC, but being presented to the villages, we don't really know about it that much.
I mean,
that's why Hoshikata's been going around spouting he's going to hold a meeting there.
Yeah, and even then, because I know Jake's character has been the envoy for this sort of thing, but an easier thing to do, and I think would be interesting, and I'm only thinking of it because I'm having a nerd, artistic moment where you would basically make a flyer. Because don't you guys actually have a section of Moon that's sort of I don't want to say resorty, but it's really nice. You have beaches and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, Moon is part of it looks just like Fiji. Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So what you guys would do, it'd be reasonable for Moon, considering Moon has to make a source of income somehow, right? Unless they're completely self-sufficient, which could also be a thing. But regardless, I mean, if they were doing something like that, you could put flyers on important village areas for a vacation spot. So come to Moon. And and you have pictures of beaches and babes running out on the sand and things like that. And you don't need someone to come. There is now this new village that you can come visit. Well, it's vacation opportunity. That's cool. And who else hasn't ever wanted that story to sort of happen where you go on vacation and then something happens and then you have to jump into action and things like that. I think that could be fun.
Enjoy my vacation.
Well. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Some people are predispositioned to try to find trouble.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware of that. I'm not going to name any names, but I am staring very hard at someone's picture.
Yeah, I want to talk about that later, but slice of life thing I want to discuss about. It's just weird because with Ninja, so beaches things like that, it's kind of weird. I mean, Naruto we have fillers. I mean, there was always that type of thing, but. In character thing is kind of weird, but we'll discuss about that later. But before we continue, I know Jake's going to talk about sand, but I want to give some shout outs to some people. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people who joined it in the last 2 weeks. 5 from Cloud, 2 from Stone, and I think 1 from Sand, if I'm not mistaken. Kuroku from Cloud, Kari, Shiki, Yiko, Yukio. Welcome to NT and Cloud. I hope you enjoy RP with us. Razin, he's from Stone, Jinime, and Kokai. So if you guys see them, just give them a nice welcome. But anyways, let me give it back to CJ with the stuff about Sand.
Yeah, so event thing's still going down. And people are finally reaching some important climaxes to where they get, really pivotal pieces of information. This is kind of the story turning point. Because initially they said, super fast blitz attack. Sand Village is all in disarray because they knew how to hit spots really well. They don't know what's going on anymore. There's no communication. People haven't met up with anyone yet, so there's no organized group yet. Well, we're getting to that point where people are doing things and their actions are now starting to have their climaxes, where you're reaching that point of, this is now the end result of that. And we're getting to that where it's going to start affecting how the rest of the event's going to start rolling out, because people are now getting tidbits of information about these unknown assailants that are attacking them. And it's going to give them that opportunity to gather and formulate a plan in order to start taking action. So we're going to get into a really exciting turn of events very soon. Which, I'm all abuzz about, if you couldn't tell.
Now the Cabal, in the end of the event, do you think the Cabal will stretch out to other villages? Because I really like to see the Cabal and Titan, or any other IBT, discuss new ideas. So I know they all both hate ninjas, so
Well,
kind of like yeah. So,
okay, so and again, I've actually revealed a lot of things on the podcast that I haven't actually revealed to other people, like in Suna chat or in the Suna, out of character areas relating to the event. I guess that's sort of a tidbit to actually listening to this. Is that the Cabal are a sub organization to a larger shadow organization whose job is essentially to make the lives of the Sand Ninja complete hell.
and what's the purpose of that?
Well, I'm trying not to give away the extra tidbit of
Well,
information
that's
that
fine.
it
No
all,
spoilers.
yeah, because it makes like if I give you that one answer, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me just put it this way: if you look, because we have a timelined history for Sand that goes back a couple hundred years with like bullet points about major events and stuff. Basically, every major event that's happened for roughly the last 120 years has been orchestrated by somebody and has been creating different aliases for different groups of his own assailants to take up the disguise of and then do things to the village to keep them down and out. So the Cabal, for instance, are doing this, but they're just using that as a name. They're not actually. There is no giant organization called the Cabal that is dedicated to killing shinobi. They're actually intelligence agents from a larger organization that has never been discovered. So there's this whole like really deep hidden anti-ninja society within Wind Country that's responsible for Sand's plights for the last 100 years or so.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Maybe later we can discuss a little bit about stuff like that. Anyways, I think is that all for Sand right now?
Yeah, I mean that's all I got right now. Other than very specific details. Just the event stuff rolling out. Otherwise, nothing too extraordinary going on. So, I mean, I think the next podcast I'm going to have like a giant list of things to talk about because a lot of things are going to happen by then, I'm sure.
Okay. Oh yeah. So Haruka asked what IBT is. So I think the only person who really knows about that is Zaku. But basically, IBT stands for International Business Technology. So they basically
So they're IBM.
yeah, I mean what they am. So basically, what they do is they're basically a biological corporation that uh pretty much manufacture not weapons but medical tools and medicine things like that. So they were created during the Civil War in Cloud to help protect and take care of like wounded soldiers and things like that. And they're still that way too. They're still a public figure that sells these pharmaceutical products to people. But basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to be more of a public company in the sense that they try selling products that help them fight off against missing in from Cloud. So like they kind of have similar like Kevlar like bullet vest, kind of like how in Sand they have some type of vest that absorbs chakra energy. Is that right? So
Something
they kind of have
similar.
the same thing. Yeah, something like that, but it's kind of archaic a little bit. They don't focus on weapons. They do a lot of medicine and chemical products stuff like that. So, but in the like dark corners of the company, there's a different section, kind of like the Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil, that are designed to further their goals and not dominate the world, but suppress the powers of shinobi because they feel like they're untrustworthy, or they just want to have the strongest power. They don't want to fall under this shinobi and stuff like that. So that's what IBT is, and they do a lot of like covert things. So the mission I have created right now is basically it's based off of Fringe a little bit. So what's happening is that there's a technology that uses radio waves that for some reason is brainwashing like Hashikaras because there's a certain frequency that causes them to lose their memories temporarily and allows them to like not control them but influence their thought patterns a little bit. So I think currently who's on the mission is Kane. Who else is? I think there's some other people too. I forgot. But anyways, they will be interacting with IBT and they see not exactly who they are, but they'll see they kind of like interact with their technology and things like that. So, anyways, that's all for current events. Let's go to special topic, which is more of like a toss-up, like I said. The first topic we're going to talk about, I think, well, actually, Why don't you guys decide? I'm just the host.
Genjutsu.
Genjutsu? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's something everybody would be interested in hearing about.
So Kenjutsu in the beginning, I thought was really cool, but now it seems like everybody who's in anybody has a Kenjutsu, so which makes it feel like it's not really a Kenjutsu, it's just a normal jutsu now. It's just a very super powerful jutsu, not really a Kenjutsu. Kenjutsu means forbidden jutsu, right? So like,
Yeah.
it just shouldn't be known to be used. If you see someone use it, it's like they either broke the law or they did something against nature. So, but now it seems so normal that it's like.
Now, if you don't have one, you're the odd man out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I know
behind the curve without it.
I know Ryujin complained about how like Cloud kind of transformed Kenjutsu in a supermarket. So like you buy, not necessarily buy, but you go to the medical complex and you just order. I'll say order in quotes like a Kenjutsu, which is not necessarily the case because the reason why we did that is because we didn't want people to like murder and like kill people to get Kenjutsu. So we kind of like control that, which Jay kind of jokingly thinks that's like selling drugs.
No. I it's worse.
Okay.
At least drugs actually exist. I still want to know how you surgically implant Dark Sage into somebody.
Okay, well, for friends, Dark Sage requires. Well, not saying the Dark Sage app. Well, you still gotta like go in the process of doing that. But the bodies, like, we supply like I guess not supply, but we provide bodies that people have permitted to use for further chocolate science. So that's what Dark Sage can use, but they're not allowed to go out and kill like civilians and stuff like that to get their body.
Well, that's why it's forbidden because they're not allowed to. But they do it anyways.
You guys basically made it okay to be all of these really taboo things.
Evil things.
It's okay, but we're going to give you the bodies.
Really evil, let's make them not. And from an in-character point, hey, awesome. From an out-of-character point, I really do have a problem with the fact that you're offering surgery for most of this stuff.
Okay, for instance, let me get an example for a legitimate example for Kenjutsu. Maosao, his character was sick, so he had to do surgery, which inadvertently gave him the RS ability. So there's certain cases where like Kenjutsu will save a person's life. I mean, it's against like nature, but it's the only option they have at the point. So there's certain cases where like Kenjutsu will be legal and allowable, but it's designed to be unpermissible. You should not be pursuing it. And Shin as a character frowns upon people or characters who pursue Kenjutsu. He would rather have them not pursue them because in his mind, pursuing Kenjutsu will corrupt the person because they pursue more power and they'll lose sight of their goal as ninjas to serve their village, not themselves. So that's the reason why he kind of does not like Kenjutsu. But I mean, right now we're kind of changing that policy right now in Cloud because we kind of made a little storyline whereby there are people who are actually doing things very heinous to the point where Shane is so disgusted that he has to illegalize it now. So now like Tenkaichis are considered illegal, so you can't like buy one. You have to actually go out your way and do it. And if you get caught, you get prison or something worse. So, anyways, is there anything else you want to add to the Kenjutsu topic or like?
Yeah. The main thing I want to talk about actually was a lot of questions have been coming up about dropping Kenjutsu or hang on a second. Oh no, that's what I want to do. There we go. Okay.
Just
all right.
Keep on talking.
Anyways, yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways, what I was saying is one of the things I want to talk about. A lot of people have been asking, is there any way to just completely drop your Kenjutsu? All I can say is the admin is actually looking into allowing that. We're also looking at the mechanics of swapping a Kenjutsu because right now, if you look in the advanced shop, it costs the exact same to change your Kenjutsu as it does to change your bloodline or core ability, which is less than 2 full weeks training.
You can swap a Kenjutsu, I think, or just do the simple math. If you get 50 points a week, 4 weeks in a month, you get 200 points, you can swap your Kenjutsu 3 times in the same month.
Yeah. So, basically, we're looking to change it to where, first off, you can straight up remove the Kenjutsu if you don't want one. And then if you want to get another one, you have that ability. So, actually,
there are certain Kenjutsus that technically would make no sense to remove because some of them are like not genetic, but they modify your body to the point where you can't like take it away. There's certain things like Hashima, for instance. Hashima, I think you can potentially lose it because it's basically breaking seals. You can
lose that, but something like Human Puppet, it does require a RP to be approved by your council. So unless you come up with something good, the council can deny it. You don't lose the points, but you still have to try again, basically. But that's one thing that we're looking at. Another thing is, I know a big topic in dev soon is going to be how to handle Kenjutsu. I'm not sure who reads the dev blog. We're actually redoing all of the core abilities and bloodlines, and then we're going to go and redo the Kenjutsu. So we got to figure out something new for those because the current system for them, I mean, you lose 3 ability slots in your class bonus, but for something like Abomination, you can gain that back immediately. So,
yeah, like times tenfold even. It's really not that hard to make up for what you lose.
Not with some of them. With others, it's pretty much impossible to, though.
I mean, yeah, not all of them are perfect, but a large majority of them. There are some clear, outstanding Kenjutsu that have favorites.
I mean, I don't care how awesome you are, there is no way to take Chimera and make it broken as hell.
Well,
yeah. So, next topic?
Sure. Next topic.
Hang on, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a technical difficulty with our Skype call. It's only a little awkward. There we go.
Well, we tried our best to roleplay in order of entry. So once someone posts, the person who's in order would post next. The only time we kind of break apart from that is when it's a direct conversation that is pretty engaging. So we permit that. And we're all mature with roleplayers, so we try not to restrict people from posting. Sometimes it's like when people post so consistently, it's kind of ruins the flow. I mean, what's your guys' opinion about that?
When it comes to posting order, I am a big fan of following it unless something happens to prompt me not to. Like if I'm in a thread with 6 other people and 3 of them just quit freaking posting and everyone but those 2 and me leave, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and skip right over them and leave also. I'm not going to get stuck in there just because they don't want to post yet.
Well, how long would you skip them? Like, for instance, like...
I'll give them a day or 2 in that case.
Yeah, 2. I give them like 3 or 4 days, usually. I mean, I'm patient, so...
I'm impatient. Look, I can post pretty much every day in every thread I'm in if I actually cared to. So if they're not doing that much, at least, and I know they're online elsewhere, all I'm going to see is, okay, I don't care about this thread. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with them. I don't either.
What about you, CJ?
Oh, so posting order in general, it's a good thing, and to respect most circumstances. But I do have a rule for it: is that you only need to maintain posting order for as long as it's relevant to your character. So, if you have a large topic and there are plus 10 people in it, say it's a Christmas party, you have 10 people in it. Odds are not all 10 of those people are standing in a circle talking to one another. They're probably in groups of 2 or 3, right? So, it's not relevant for you to wait for those 2 to 3 people in a completely different conversation to post before you post in yours. Sure, there is a certain amount of leeway that you have to give, so that way, if for some odd reason one group of people is like 3 super active role players, aka they can knock out 3 to 4 posts a piece in 24 hours, yeah, maybe roll it back just a little bit. But otherwise, you're allowed to break the order, is just so as long as it doesn't disrupt the flow.
CJ?
Yeah, Jake?
Do I need to remind you about the event at the Leaf Hospital?
You have to be more specific.
All right, for those, I'm going to give a little background here because no one knows what I'm talking about probably. There was an event in the Leaf Hospital, back in 2008, I think, might have been 9, where someone set off a bomb in the hospital. So I was charged as part of council. I was tasked with having an NPC go through who was actually killing people in the hospital. Anyways, I come walking out of the hospital with this NPC, and Shiryu catches me. At which point, all post-order just goes to hell. It's literally the next 2.5 pages is Shu and I RPing with each other.
I remember that. Right, that whole
No
thing.
one else was really there. But,
Man.
Someone took the time to go ahead and berate us for doing that.
I may or may not have been one of those people at the time. Because I remember partaking in that event. Except I was,
It
you know...
was you.
Was it me? Okay, it was me. Fine.
Yeah.
It was me. Because
It was one of those situations
that would have annoyed
that
me.
you're talking about, too.
Anyway,
I want to kind of interrupt a little bit, but Kako is asking what same BLs are you guys plan on redoing nerfing completely? Like
We are redoing all of them.
all of them.
Every
How long will that? I
single
mean,
one.
doing all of them. Like, I mean,
The
you
ones that
doing
are
all them based on the new battle system, or like what? Like,
we're redoing all of them based on everything that's come out since the last time they got redone. None of them took any advantage of the fact that we now have illusionary damage, for instance. Absolutely none of them did a thing, I don't think, with the fact that Genjutsu swapped around to the new system at all, honestly. But that's just one of the things that has changed. And I mean, that's a major thing. So we're redoing all of them to catch them all up with the new systems in place. And the ones that are a little overpowered, we're going to bring down a bit. The ones that are really weak, we're going to try to take up a bit. We're trying to get them all about the same balance-wise. Because let's face it, there is no contest in terms of balance between, right off the top of my head, Pyromaniac and Aberami. There isn't.
really? I mean, Pyromaniac's on fire, and then
No, balance-wise, Pyromaniac is extremely broken. Aberami is just about useless.
okay.
at least he's candid
I have
about
yet
it.
to see. Yeah, I have yet to see anyone break Aberami. Meanwhile, you can break most of the other stuff that I can think of off the top of my head. Pyromaniac can be broken, Nanjiru, Reckless, Ghostwalker, of course. Hawkeye is, oh god, Hawkeye. Hawkeye is probably the most broken thing on the site right now. So, I mean, we're actually working to just bring everything back down to the point where you can't completely ruffle stomp the whole game with one build.
Well, personally, I feel like, discussing the battle mod system stuff, so it's kind of like off topic a little bit. But personally, I feel like we should like scrap the whole entire battle mod system and like make something very like more close to like D&D. Or I mean, I looked up the D&D rules for Naruto, and they seem interesting, but a bit too sophisticated for our purposes. So I just feel like, I don't know. For me, I don't really train that much.
It can't be more complex than what we have now. I promise you that.
Right. Anyways,
No, there has been talk at every time we come up with a new revision change, a new version, there's always talk of changing the battle system. But end of the day, it has not happened yet, so.
well, oh well.
Because if we just scrap the battle system, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose a lot of players.
Well, I guess that's an opinion. I mean, NC is basically an RP site, so we shouldn't really focus on the battle.
We shouldn't. A lot of our
Let's not open up that can of worms about what kind of site NC is.
And
there was an era of that when we had wars over that. Okay, we're not going to open that up. However, and I had a conversation similar to this already, is that the battle system exists purely for the reason of when two characters disagree on something. Now, as to the scale of what the disagreement is can vary. Like I said, it could be as something as small as grabbing someone's wrist, as opposed to full-scale combat.